Hi, I'm going to be discussing the conditions of sexual sin and how it was used to keep AIDS alive in Africa and in the prison system in order to support the behaviors of men. What I'm basically saying is that women and children in Africa and in the United States, as well as the African American community, in terms of its incarceration, was exposed to a system that homosexuals and the clergy fed off of in order to get their fix for research and the medicines that they want. And once these elitist men get their fix, or these elitist drug addicts get their fix and get the medicines that they want, these other people really go by the wayside. And that's a reality. So this is something that the homosexuals in the church have to realize, that they are murderers and they are rapists of these women, that they have been thriving off of these women and children, both here and abroad. And those people that are in the arts, especially the women in the arts, realize that when you think you're buddying up with all these men, well, they are feeding off of these other women and children. And they're getting their fix for the research and the medications that they want, only to throw the others out of the train. Therefore, when you point your finger at Trump was willing to change a lot of things early on. You better realize that you're going to be walking through their deaths, their rape, their female genital mutilation, what is happening to these women abroad. The gay community in the United States and in the West, globally, but especially in the West, and especially amongst the clergy, refuse to own up that women have more DNA, that it's easy to look at. It is not about hormones. It's not just about hormones. And they have to look at the issues in terms of the sports, bigger muscles, bigger heart, bigger lungs, the whole 9 yards. They are feeding off of women. And I'm saying to the women, you will be reviewing your life and the deaths of these children, these women, the toxic waste that you have bought into, no differently than the men. Let's put us on pause. And I'm also gravely concerned that, given the church and that great snake of St. Peter that is at the Vatican, and their worship of Apollo, I'm gravely concerned that the church does not believe in Jesus. So obviously I'm going to represent the Nazarenes, and obviously they have no respect for Paul or the environment. I've been a part of the church for so long. This is why it's over, and it has to be the Church of the Nazarene. So I'm telling the women again, do not feel sorry for homosexuals. Feel sorry for the women and the children and the young women here that have been sex slaves, and women such as myself that have been used, and the dying women and children and what's happened to their lives in Africa and abroad. Do not feel sorry for these elitist homosexual men or for the elitist men. Do not feel sorry for the Vatican that's swimming in gold, or the Orthodox Church. Both of them made a fortune off of slavery and off of colonization. Don't feel sorry for these men. And finally, consider the following. If you have a group of people who can just bow and recite the same prayers time in and time again and lie about what's in the Bible. I mean, the only people that are supposed to take over the earth are the vegans. That's what it says in Genesis 1. I mean, to understand that the Galli ran around naked are related to the Celts. There's a whole different conversation that I've had in this area. I'm warning the women, back away from them and stop supporting them right now. Trump, there's a lot of other people that are willing to walk right away from this. And remember, Epstein, Maxwell, they came forward. They were willing to have their 3-year moratorium. There is a huge problem with the LGBTQ, but especially gay men, and they have used the clergy. The last thing I'm going to say about sexual sin, Paul and Jesus said it concisely. Fornication, all forms of fornication, all forms of porn, which includes porn, all transactional sex, sex outside of marriage, one spouse, only one spouse, male, female. Men do not have enough DNA to reproduce, and women do not have enough DNA too. But there's another part that goes with sexual sin, and that is matrilocality. A man is to leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife. Anything outside of that is also a form of sexual sin. So I'm putting my foot down here. It was said 4 times. It's been illustrated in the Old Testament. We've now seen the fruition of the destructive nature, this Thracian male-dominated patrilocal patriarchy. I'm not saying that there isn't joint rulership, and I'm not saying there isn't interlinking, but Jesus and the Creator made it clear a man will leave his mother and father, will cleave to his wife in her location. Once that happens, you don't have to have sister wives, because you've already got your family around you. The men are safer. They're not going to war to have brides or to rape or to... everybody is so much safer with this. So marriage occurs in that location, and anything outside of that is not the marriage that heaven wants. And you can use contraception. You should remember, I've had this conversation already. But contraception is different than an abortive. Okay. The church has not taught this, is not striving it. It's said 4 times in the Bible. That's it. That's the way it works. It's illustrated in the Abraham, the failures of the church fathers, the whole 9 yards. It's repeated time and time and time again. That's how it works. And once we all agree to go into a matrilocal system, and we work far more with the church and then privately within the systems, as well as working through the government, you'll have, you won't have this toxic waste. Anyway, bye. I have to say bye. Bye.